What up, fellow ninjas, shooters, and the like? Gajo, the GunOninja here, once again, going over some basics. And I wanted to kind of show you something I'm doing here now. You're probably wondering, what am I doing with some measuring instruments and a CCI rack and a tire, well, an air coupling and a box of Federal. Well, today I'm going to show you that I'm going to be measuring some rim thicknesses off this with a homemade rim thickness gauge that I kind of made out of this. Saw a guy on the internet just basically grabbed something like that, and I just drilled her out to the right size of my bullet so that my 22 can fall in there, and then I can get a good rim reading on that. As you can tell, this isn't perfect machined flat, but it's probably a few hundred thousandths off, so it's not going to be a big deal when measuring for rim thickness. And as you can tell, I have my measuring device here, and basically all you do is you put this inside of your instrument here. You make sure that your instrument is laying flat between your prongs or your teeth, and that you're basically looking for 0. So basically you just kind of, drop that. Basically what you're doing is you're going to hold your device like so, and just get it set to 0. So basically you find the sweet spot, kind of measure around, make sure that it's going to be consistent. As you can tell, it's only like a little bit of a difference off, but see, I mean, if you move it back and forth, that's the kind of the difference. If you get it dead nuts flat on, it'll be reading at 0. So because I'm not reading at 0 right now, what I'm going to do is just hold it there. I'm just going to untighten that, make a minor adjustment so that we are reading 0. So this is 0 right here. Just make one more final measurement. Okay, so we are on 0, so I'm going to lock that down with this here. So now I'm locked down, I'm at 0. So basically this is zeroed out so that I can start measuring for rim thickness, and what I'm going to shoot for today is 42 thousandths. Because I've been measuring a lot of these, and most of them have been coming out at about 42 thousandths. So basically all you do is you get your gauge up in there and you press your rim thickness gauge up in there. Let's see, it's kind of hard to read, but basically, as you can tell, you just kind of wiggle, just a little wiggle, little tap back, little wiggle, and we're at about 42 thousandths right there. So that's what I'm going to keep for what I'm going to be practicing with. I'm going to start at 42 thousandths and kind of fart around with that. And basically what I do is you sit here for a little while and you kind of get your rim thickness gauge, and you just kind of go back and forth. You make sure you're measuring out. Oh, it's like more like 41, 42, kind of like 41.5. So I can go up from that, so about that. So keep that at 42 because it's measuring just over the halfway mark. It's kind of hard to see here because the indicator gauge faceplate's a little scuffed up, so it's kind of hard for you guys to see. But basically, what I am trying to do, see if I can't see what it's basically. It's right now it's at like 41 thousandths. Basically, I'm trying to get anything over 40 thousandths to be, well, anything over 41 actually is what I'm aiming for. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I can get that 41 thousandths or 42 thousandths. I'm going to start at 42 and see where my gun likes them. So I'll just set that one aside because it's a little low, and I'll just keep going. And basically now a lot of people are going to, well, what's that magic number? What's your magic number? Well, there is no magic number. No one round is going to shoot any better than the next one. So basically what you're going to want to do is consistency. The first thing I'm going to start with is just measuring the rim thickness and see where that gets me. From what I understand, if you measure the rim thickness and you get them very consistent, you know, like I am now with my 42 thousandths, if I keep measuring all my rim thicknesses at 42 thousandths, eventually I'm going to come up with very consistent grouping. We're talking about a ½ inch difference in grouping here. So I mean that's really the difference we're looking at. So what I'm doing is I got a couple piles behind me, and I'm just basically measuring what my rim thickness is. As you can see there, it's pretty much dead on 40 thousandths. So that'll go into my other pile. And I'm basically just pulling out all the 42. Anything .042 is basically what I'm shooting for right now. So anything .042 is what I want. And the reason why I want that is I want a hot round that'll be consistent, and I'll be able to continuously shoot a group within a quarter, or smaller eventually once I get better at shooting. But right now I'm at 2-inch groups, just shooting with the shit that, just anything that I throw at it, except for maybe subsonic rounds. And then I have to kind of just basically gauge from my subsonics my drop. But other than that, I can pretty much keep subsonics after a few rounds in a consistent group as well. Just all depends on what you want to shoot. Like I say, most of these are at 41 thousandths, but I'm trying to get my slightly hotter round out of that. I mean, I can take all, I'm actually keeping my 41 thousandths together too as well, and all my 42 thousandths together, and the rest of them I'm just going to throw back in the bulk box and just shoot them for fun. But basically what I am looking for is that consistency. Anything that's 42, I'll drop here, or back in my other 42 pile that I have. And I'm just going to keep doing this until I get about 50, and then those 50 are going to be shot at the range this weekend, or this week I should say. And basically what I'm going to be doing is just kind of testing the grouping. I'm hopefully going to be able to get the camera in there for that. And I want to test the accuracy of these auto matches and stuff. And I'm thinking about, you know, just doing it for these auto match bullets at first, and then if I actually see some great consistency out of getting my proper measurement with these, after that I think I'll just tell you guys what I got, kind of show you some groupings and some targets that I shoot, and go from there. Like I said, all I got was just like a air chuck for, I don't know, I bought a pack of these, like 20 of these things at a kind of like a air supply store where they sell lots of air tools for automotive stuff, and I just bought a pack of these for like $10, like 20 of them for $10, so I got them for about 50 cents a piece. And they're just really cheap stainless steel fittings, and all I did was just took my drill bit, just went in there and reamed her out big enough for a 22 shell. You could probably do, say, 17 HMR with it too, or Win Mags or whatever. You know, you just have to go for the different size for your casing. So you want to make sure your casing fits in there. And you don't, I mean, having a small amount of play, that really tiny amount of play, I mean, there is a very, very tiny amount of play in there, as you can tell. That's not a big deal because you're going to be pushing up against this to get the rim flush. So it's not like that little tiny bit of bullet's going to make a difference in there. As you can tell, there's just a itty bitty bit. When that pushes up against that, that's actually going to flatten that rim thickness out so it stays consistent throughout. This isn't the optimal perfect tool to use for rim thickness. If you're going to go like competition shooting and you're really serious about it, you might actually want to go out and buy a rim thickness gauge. But from the gauges that I've seen, this is not any better, any worse than anything out there. It's all about, you know, how you measure your instruments, with your instruments. If you're really good at measuring with your instruments, like I've had plenty, like see, we're still at 0. Like I've had plenty of experience with these, and micrometers, so, and dial indicators and all that kind of stuff, so I've learned how to use them a little bit. I just kind of want to get back into it because I have the ability to measure all these bullets. And if you're just sitting there watching YouTube videos and you got nothing better to do, or you're making a video for that matter, you can just sit there and with your rim thickness gauge and just do a couple bullets. See, there's a 41. I will go back in my 41 pile. And once again, we'll go up again. Another bullet. Basically, as you can see, what I'm doing is I'm holding this up against the teeth flat like that. And I'm just carefully tapping. I don't want to. Don't. And one thing is, don't slam this on your rim. And if you don't know why, then guess. Maybe the name rimfire has something to do with it. Anyway, there's a 40, so it's 40 thousandths on the nuts. Now I've seen a couple like a 39 thousandths and such too, like the ones that are under. So I mean, it just depends, you know. I mean, maybe those 39 thousandths will shoot perfect zeros all day long at 100 yards or 50 yards. Don't know, couldn't tell you, but I will let you guys know how well this works out. Ooh, there you go. See, look at that. Right there, you can see it's about a 38. There's a 38 right there. As you can see, that's a big difference. I mean, from 42 to 38. I mean, we're talking. Let's see if I can set that back there. So here's 40. Let's just say there's 38 about right there. 38. Like 42. That's a big difference. That's like about a millimeter, almost a difference. Maybe like 3/4 of a millimeter difference, just in that. And that makes a huge difference with the priming material that's inside the bullet, so you can get more consistent firing. Usually the larger amount of primer is going to ignite more of the powder and get a more consistent burn. So that's why I want to go hotter first and work my way back. I might find some really hot ones in here, like some 45 thousandths or something like that, but I don't know, I just thought I'd share that with you guys. I've been picking up some match grade. Got a couple boxes of these. These are actually really nice pieces of ammo. I have only shot them a little bit. Noticed that they were kind of consistent. So I wanted to measure them and see if I could make them even more consistent. Get a little more bang for your buck, you know. Turn this like 6-cent round into maybe a 14-cent round. Essentially, by theory. So thanks guys for watching. Hopefully I'll have part 2 up in the next week or so. Bye.